Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stefanie Drysdale's weekly cybersecurity recap number 45. It's Friday, November 13th, 2020. What could possibly go wrong? Miss Stefanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chuck. Friday the 13th in 2020 sounds like a match made in heaven, right?
Oh my gosh, I'm not even going to. I'm betting on aliens landing before 2020 is over. I swear I'm betting on that because it's the most outside possibility, but the biggest impact.
What if they brought a vaccine with them? Would that maybe make it worthwhile?
Well, remember what Michael Rennie said: to serve man, we need to serve man as a dish was the ultimate joke in that movie. So let's be careful what we wish for.
So this week, we want to just, I don't like to use the word happy, but we'd like to definitely honor and remember veterans this Veterans Day, a really special Veterans Day with it being an election year and so much going on. We also have Remembrance Day and the 245th birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps. So, in addition to us offering our gratitude to them for all the sacrifices that they've made, um, it's helpful for us to remember just to provide them support in any ways that we can, support the organizations that help them in the form of suicide prevention and PTSD support and research. Um, Same thing with service animals for vets, and make sure that our politicians are prioritizing the best policies for their health care and their mental health and any supplemental support that they need. They deserve it for so much for what all of you do for us. So anyway, thank you for your sacrifices, and I hope that you were able to celebrate that holiday this week. So the American Psychological Association this week reminded us that stopping military and veteran suicides is such an important cause for us all to rally behind and throw our support toward, especially Veterans Day, but year round. Um, Really sobering statistics around that, just that absolute need for support. Recommended some expanding screening and evaluations, as well as additional uh, promising interventions that they've been looking into and suggesting communities as support for these people in desperate need. So make sure that you're supporting those organizations that support our vets, in addition to just wishing them well and thanking them for their sacrifice. Gideon Rasmussen this week shared a phishing scam appearing to be from Microsoft, asking if you'd like to keep your same password with a link to click. Microsoft will never ask you to do this. So this comes from a non-Microsoft email address. Be on the lookout for these types of scams. Please don't fall victim to it. Never click if at all possible. Laszlo Gonk shared a ZDNet article this week with Microsoft urging their users to stop using phone-based multi-factor authentication, particularly around SMS, text messages, and voice calls. Just when you've finally gotten used to some of this multi-factor authentication that I keep asking you to do, we're going to ask you to stop using that particular kind. Switching to more of an app-based authenticator or a security key instead. As the threats evolve, so must the protections and different methods. So I know we're going to tell you to do things sometimes, and then 6 months from now, we're going to tell you to do something else. That's just part of staying on top of it and staying safe as the threats evolve. Christian West shared a Newsbreak article this week that talked about the Detroit mayor and how he was planning to reevaluate his security after receiving hate mail from militia types. The FBI has recently uncovered a plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, and also discussed the same group taking the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam. All because people agreed with their stances and their policies around COVID-19 and restrictions around lockdowns and masks and things like that. Really, really important for security teams to be monitoring these threats proactively online, social media monitoring, dark web monitoring, and staying really on top of that executive protection, both from a physical standpoint as well as from a cyber standpoint. Bob Carver shared a Futurism article this week about the first cruise ship that returned to the Caribbean, now already being under a COVID lockdown. The Sea Dream was one of the first ones to try to sell a COVID-free experience, testing people in advance and also while people were on the ship. Just 4 days into the trip, people were already testing positive and they were under a lockdown and having to come back. They were able to bypass the CDC's restrictions by being a vessel under 250 passengers, including staff. So I know a lot of people are getting a little antsy. They're wanting to take those vacations and they're trying to find a foolproof, safe method to do so. It still just doesn't exist. So be careful, everyone. Just wear your mask. Try to stay home. I know here in Chicago, we're at a place where we're suggested to stay home for some time now. So if we all do this, I'm really hopeful that we can ultimately put this behind us in time for a vaccine. So keep your fingers crossed on that. Edward Collegian shared this week a press reader article about the website Ashley Madison seeing a surge in their users amid the pandemic. While I won't comment on the ethics of this, I will remind everyone, including those tasked with protecting principals, that this site could potentially suffer another compromise like before. And should that happen, it could be very, very damaging to anyone who signed up for it, including someone that you're tasked with protecting. Last time, there were some very catastrophic responses to this in the forms of suicides for people who really found themselves reputationally compromised by being a part of that. Just remind you that nothing is ever 100% safe, but please don't ever use your work email or any name attributable emails to this. And keep in mind as you enter any information that is personally yours, what it might look like to someone else if they were to access it, especially if that someone were an enemy. So the National Cybersecurity Center in the UK shared some guidance on dealing with suspicious emails, phone calls, and text messages. They talked about various methods, but offered some really helpful advice for reporting some suspicious messages and what to do if you've already responded to some of those, such as contacting the company, like your bank, or contacting your IT department, or running a full scan on your device, as well as changing passwords and contacting law enforcement when applicable. It just reminds us that spotting scams is more difficult, but they do tend to incorporate consistent themes like authority, urgency, emotion, scarcity, current events, all to get you to react impulsively, either fear-based or anger-based. So if you feel that, take a step back and try not to fall into that trap. Again, just go to the source all the time. Try not to be responsive to things, but kind of proactively go around and go directly to the source. And that's what I have for you all this week. I hope you all are well and staying healthy and staying warm. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.